Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Friday, the 26th of July. All right, now we've had the ECB meeting, and you know what? A lot of hype, and they didn't really deliver as far as the market was concerned. Now, just having a quick look at the charts, just to give you a bit of perspective, if I just come across to the euro crosses here, I mean, the market was massively short euro. Okay, actually, the last couple of days, the manufacturing PMI numbers pretty okay, but the rest of the PMI numbers out of Germany and the Eurozone were weak. And then yesterday, the German IFO numbers were terrible. So really, the data's been weak, and the market was really geared up for a big announcement from the ECB. Now, I may have mentioned to a couple of people about will they go ahead of the final Brexit, okay, with new policy, new quantitative easing? That was the big question mark for me, Brexit itself, which is coming up. Now, the crosses here, look at all the correction here on all the crosses. I mean, the fact that they didn't do any QE and they didn't deliver with like a rate cut or anything else was actually a positive outcome immediately from the meeting. All right. So what you sort of see at this stage is you'll see these corrections in euro, but to me, what Draghi's done is they didn't deliver what the market wanted. There's been a squaring up of all those short positions, but the euro is still in the same position that it was, before the meeting. In fact, and this is where the craftiness of, a good central banker, not sort of just running with what the market was sort of dealing with, but trying to sort of work out when the best time to deliver the policy is. Probably not when the whole market expects it. If anything, they've said basically, okay, we may adjust a few things. Overall, the picture is still very dire, but we're not going to change policy just yet. And that's where we get that reaction. And the reaction across a lot of the pairs, if I'd actually just come back to the MyFX Trading Hub, you'll see that, the sentiment overall, the focus is now going to switch to the Fed meeting next week. We've got a huge week next week. We've got the Aussie CPI, the Fed meeting, followed by the Bank of England, right? So there's some big things coming out, but the Fed will be the main focus. Now, euro itself, okay, we had a picture yesterday where everything was sort of lining up. Now, the ECB is still bearish or dovish. You know what? But on the hourlies, it's starting to trade sideways. On the dailies, it's still sort of broken down, but it's sort of just hanging there. Now, this 111.60 is going to be a sort of bit of a pivot point for going forward. We'll have to see how that plays out. To me, I'm still bearish euro and looking to get short euro and rallies, but now it's going to switch over to the dollar. So today's market conditions, I've got more as a market wait and see sort of situation. And the dollar itself has, through that euro diffusion, really sort of come back into play, right? There's no real change of sentiment. The sentiment from the Fed is now starting to be discussed, and they're talking about something like a hawkish cut, right? What that means is basically they cut rates, but then they're like, that's it for us. And you know what? All the economic numbers are pretty good, so that's it for now, and we'll wait and see. We may actually, that'll be it. So anyway, so the dollar perspective, okay, across the board here, dollar yen and dollar Swiss in particular, these two pairs, the safe haven sort of profile, there's no sort of worries at this stage. And you know what? The dollar has got clear direction on dollar yen and dollar Swiss, breaking higher on the hourly and daily trends. So just keep an eye on that. That sort of sets the tone for the rest of the pairs. And actually just coming back to the charts, it's been one of those tricky weeks with the ECB waiting and no major data. The hardest pairs to sort of really looking at is the Aussie and Kiwi, which sort of traded sideways through the short-term support levels. And because we had no other support around, they've just slowly drifted lower. Now, that's sort of slowly drifting lower with the euro, but now with a bit of dollar strength, they are just drifting in the breeze, right? There's no clear levels. Overall, if you're looking on a longer-term perspective, these two pairs are really still within recent ranges. So there's no real reason to get fully excited and think these things are breaking down. The central banks for these two currency pairs are dovish, so that sort of works out well, but we don't really have the overriding picture. Now, dollar yen just breaking above, short-term resistance and above the cloud. It too is sitting up here in the middle of nowhere. up in no man's land. So just probably trying to work out what's going on. If anything, you're probably looking to buy dips on dollar yen. And here's the sort of real convoluted price action around that ECB meeting. Okay, they had the dip on the German iPhone numbers beforehand. Then it got real messy, and we're back to exactly where we were yesterday. As I said, I think euro is still a sell, but we probably have to wait to see how things play out. And this is where you start adjusting your trend lines. Now, sterling just trading sideways, but now that Boris Johnson's taken over and he's getting his cabinet organised, I think there might be a bit of positive euphoria or confidence back in sterling. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that back up towards 128 in the coming week or two. Dollar CAD, oil thrashing about. It is slowly ticking higher, but no one really wants to take it on above 130, 150. The Canadian data's been weak. We're starting to get a bit of dollar strength, and oil's falling. So it all points towards a higher dollar CAD, but there's not a hell of a lot of clarity just at the moment. So to me, with the charts, if anything, you got to start with the catalyst, where the action was. And you're sort of starting to look here back at euro. So to me, I'm starting to redraw my resistance trend lines. This one here is probably too short term just to draw a trend line from that point to here. You got two touches. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So, with that trend line, I'll be deleting that. And then really coming back to where that support trend line is. Now we've got that new low. You really want to be focusing on that. And if I just bring my charts across, well, I'll have to go to the daily charts. Just trying to get enough data in there to find out where that low comes from. And you can see it here now. We've got that low. It's sort of bounced back above. So I want to make sure I'm on the right level. So if I just tidy that up, come back to euro, and let's just blow that up. And this is the sort of picture I want to look at. Okay, I can see where euro is. I know there's a bit of a, if anything, you've got like a bunch of lows here around sort of 112. Okay, it's sort of where it's sort of bottomed out here. So what I'm looking for now is potential levels to get short. To me, I'm still looking to get short. Back towards 112 works. And if anything, we could see a squeeze back to 112 sort of 30, depending on what US numbers we get. So that's the euro, right? So then you're coming back across to look at the rest of your pairs. Now, we've only got US GDP numbers coming out. If anything, you're probably looking for new, or where those support levels are on the Aussie and Kiwi. Short term still, just on these hourly charts, you've got that level the Aussie's broken down through 69.60. That's a bit more relevant than that previous support line. But if in the same way you do the euro, you want to come back and find these major levels here on the Aussie with regards on the dailies. Bring it back to the hourly perspective, and then you can start to sort of work out where the levels are. So, all right, and this is the process you need to be going through pretty much every day, but especially after a major announcement where we do have significant moves in some of the bigger pairs, which do resonate through not really the minor pairs, but the Aussie and Kiwi, which don't have any data at the moment, are sort of just drifting around and looking for direction from either the correlating pairs or the dollar itself. And this is where the action will come from. So right now, when I bring it back to the MyFX Trading Hub, it's a bit of a wait and see. The Fed is going to be huge from here. Like right now, looking at the advanced GDP numbers for potential opportunities, and this comes back into the dollar index as well, which is broken higher and now just trading sideways. So we're looking for that US data to really give us direction. If anything else is going on, dollar China has gone completely to sleep, and we do have some levels to work with. It's just a matter of seeing what data comes out. I would expect that US-China trade issues to pop back up. That's for sure. And for those traders who are looking towards the opportunities going forward, core market drivers at this point, I've added the mixed ECB outlook. Just at the moment, to me, they're still bearish and dovish, but right now it's a bit of a mixed picture. We've got those other Brexit, the China-US situation, US-Iran situation. But the main focus for me is already starting to look forward to next week. And as I said, we've got some really big things coming out, like policy changing for central banks. The Aussie CPI hugely important for where the Aussie dollar goes from here. Then you've got the Fed, followed by the Bank of England, and then US non-farm payrolls to finish the week. This is a heavy-hitting week. It's going to be pretty huge. Hopefully we get more answers than what the ECB have given us so far. All right. So out of all the analysis, for me right now, there's nothing that really, gives me a huge buzz. What I'm looking for is at least 3 of these components to line up, and then you're really focusing on the trading opportunity. At the moment, we've got 1 and 2 here and there. It's probably just not quite enough to really dig your teeth into. So remain patient and wait for these good trading opportunities to pop up. All right, guys, have a good day. We'll catch you in the 247 trade zone. Cheerio.